Hi and welcome back to this course. So in this video we're going to be talking about data types in C. So I had already created a file named datatypes.c. So we're going to be talking about four basic data types, which are the int, double, char, and the string. The string isn't a conventional data type in C, but I would explain more about it when we get there. So when we are trying to create a variable in C, we have to tell C three things. The first thing we need to tell C is what kind of value are we assigning to this variable. That is, what kind of data type are we assigning to this variable. Then the next thing is we need to pass in the variable name, and then we need to pass in the value that we're actually trying to assign to that variable. Now, we need to take note of the fact that I said data type. Now, there are different data types in C, and then anytime you're trying to assign a value to a variable, you have to declare what data type it is first. So we're going to start with the int data type. Now, when you are going to be working, when you are working with C, you are going to notice that you are going to be making use of numbers a lot. So in order to store numbers in a variable, we need to first declare what kind of variable it is, which is int. And then after that, we need to type in the name of the variable itself. So I would say like age, and then you now equate that to the actual value. So I'm just going to say like 26 and then put a semicolon. Now, the int data type is used to declare that we are trying to assign a whole number to a variable. Now, a whole number is a number that doesn't have like any point. It's just 26. Like 26 is a whole number, 97 is a whole number. It doesn't have any point. So that is what an integer is. An integer is basically a whole number. So anytime you declare a variable to be int, you have to assign an integer to that variable, or else you are going to have errors. Now we can decide to print out this age. So I would say print f, and then I'm going to pass in my p_d and then age. So in order to print out integers, you have to pass in p_d into the printf function, and then you pass in the actual variable that you're trying to print out. But in the next video, we're going to be talking about printf, and you would understand more about this. So once I run this, okay, let me put the \n here so that you can see that well. So once I run this, you can see it prints out 26 in the terminal. So the next data type that we're going to be talking about is the double. So earlier I said once you want to assign a whole number to a variable, you have to declare it using the int data type. But what if you want to assign a decimal number to a variable? What do you use? You use the data type called double. Now, double is used to declare that you are trying to assign a decimal number to a variable. For example, I could create a variable, declare a variable as double, and I would name it grade, and I would equate that to 54.6. Now what I have done here is I have created a variable called grade, and I have assigned a decimal number or a float to this variable. Now, in order to declare decimal numbers, again, we have to use the double data type. Now, if I was to assign this int and I said print age here, I want you to note what would happen. If I run it, you can see it's already giving an error because we've assigned int to this data type, and then we're giving it a decimal number. So I want you to always take note that anytime you're trying to assign a data type to a particular variable, the value that you're assigning to that variable must be equal to the data type. So here I can try to print grade right here, and then anytime you want to print a double or a decimal number, you always have to pass in %f. Again, you are going to understand more about this in the next video where we talk about the printf function. So once I run this, you can see it prints out 54.60000. So that is that about the double data type, how to double data type, and how to declare decimal numbers. So the next data type that we're going to talk about is the char data type. So let me just comment this out. Comment this rather. Int data type, and then the double data type. So the next one that we're going to talk about is the char data type. So the char data type, or the character data type, is used to assign a single character value to a variable. So what I mean is, I could create a variable and name it char level, and I would equate that to a. Now what this means is that we've created a variable named level, and then we've assigned a single character to it, which is a. Now I want you to think of something. Anytime you declare the char data type, you must only assign it to one character, and it must be in single quotes. So if I were to pass in other things into this into this code here, once I run it, you can see it is crashing. So you must always assign one character to the char data type. So once I run this, you can see everything is working fine now, and it must be in single quotes. You shouldn't use double quotes. So that about the char data type. It is used to represent single characters. Now the next data type that we're going to talk about is the string. Now this isn't like a conventional inbuilt data type in C. So the way we create a string is we say char, and then I can say name, and I will put an empty list here. And now I'm going to explain what this does, but I'll put an empty list here and equate it to the proton guy. Sorry, the proton guy. So basically, what have we done? We have used the char data type to try to just stringify a list of characters. So we're trying to just zip a list of characters into one input. What that means is, normally the char data type is responsible for collecting only one character, but if we want to declare a string, we would have to pass in the char data type, then the name of the variable, and pass in a list here and empty brackets. So once you've done that, you now equate it to whatever value you want, and take note that it must be in double quotes. If I were to change this to single quotes and I run it, you see that it is crashing. So it must be in double quotes. So that is how to declare a string. Now you could also, if you would want to print out a string, you could say %s, you would say %s, and then you would pass in name. So let's clear out the terminal. And then once I run this, okay, it's giving an error saying okay, I didn't put a semicolon at the end of that. So let's run that again, and then you can see it's printing out the proton guy. So that is how you can print out a string. You pass in %s. And I forgot, if you also want to print out a single character, which is this in line 10, you would pass in %c, and then here I would say level. And then once I save that and run it, you can see it's printing out a to the terminal. So those are the simple data types that we're going to be talking about in this video. So we talked about the int. It is used to declare that we are trying to assign a whole number to a variable. We talked about the double, which is used to assign a decimal number to a variable. And then we talked about the char data type, which is used to assign a single character to a variable. And then we talked about the string, which is a way of zipping a bunch of characters together to become one. So we do that by saying char, then we pass in the name of the variable, and then we put these two square brackets and equate that to the value that you are trying to assign to this variable, and it has to be in quotes. Now in future videos, you are going to understand why we put this square bracket here. So thank you for watching this video, and in the next video we're going to talk about the printf function. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.